Anyone over 30? How did dating change for you when you got older? Women, please get involved. Dating became less about sex and more about compatible companionship as I aged. Sex has always been important and still is, but it certainly isn't the primary factor anymore. It is a consequence, not the base of a good relationship in ho. Frosting on the cake. It's what might appear good from the outside, but everyone knows the actual cake is the more important part. One of my favorite memories was having a roommate who was one of those 18 is legal, and there's nothing wrong with pursuing 18-year-olds guys. He was 28. Anyhow, a super babe of a 18-year-old he knew from his hometown hit him up when she moved to the city for college and they went on a date. He came home so uncomfortable and so flabbergasted about how young she actually was. He had a terrible time. By the end he did not view her as a babe. He viewed her as a child. He never again spoke about 18-year-old girls. This is what I don't get when I hear about famous people in those really big age gap relationships. Like, have you as a 40-year-old spoken to an 18-year-old? They are not fully cooked yet. The things they think and worry about are not the things a person in their 40s thinks and worries about. Nor should they be. I actually enjoyed dating much more in my 30s than my 20s. Part of that was because the work I put into myself in the previous decade came to fruition. So getting dates was easier, and I could actually be somewhat selective. I dated mostly within a few years of my age. Like the others noted, women in their early 20s just weren't as attractive to me, both physically and emotionally, and there was a lot social media obsessions, mainly, that I simply couldn't relate to. I did fall backwards into 6-month relationship with a I need a baby now before it's too late type. Yeah, that wasn't fun, but live and learn. Most of the women I dated had the confidence to know what they were looking for, so there wasn't a lot of dancing around. It seemed they've left those intolerable games of their early 20s behind them, and they've learned to communicate more directly, and they've also learned that smearing more makeup on doesn't make them more alluring. The sex was also much better and more frequent in my 30s than my 20s. At the end of my 30s, I was fortunate to find the woman of my dreams, who was on the same page as me at the same time. We've been happily married for several years with 2 kids and 2 dogs. 33 meters. It was non-existent in my 20s, and it has continued into my 30s. Hence why I gave up. Same brother. I'm 31 and it's tough. I never admitted I gave up, but deep down I know I gave up. It's just not worth the effort, I don't think. In my mind. No, it isn't worth the effort. The only reason for me to have a partner is to have someone to travel with. Other than that, it doesn't appeal to me. Hasn't changed much. Still can't get a date. I came to a lifelong realization that some people are meant to be alone, and learned to make peace with it and found acceptance. A life free of expectations and social constructs is both liberating and refreshing. IDK. I've always been of the mind that uglier people probably have more sexual than me and or have found someone that makes them happy. And by ugly, I mean both inside or outside. To think there isn't one for you in the millions of people that live within an hour or two is silly. Otherwise, it'd be rare to hear of older people finding love once again after their previous partner passing away. Those people got +2 chances at love. Why can't you get one shot? Friend of mine met a late 30s woman who wanted the marriage/kid life. She gave him 6 months and hit him with marriage now or never. Long story short, they've been together for 3 years and have a 8-month-old. No time wasted there. Personally, I could never date someone like that. I was hit with that by someone when I and she were 25. This person couldn't even hold a job or stay in school. Thank God my parents fought me on that relationship, lol. I was married from late 20s through my 30s. Got divorced at 40 and had to learn dating all over again. Dating in my 40s was awesome. The dating pool mostly consisted of other divorcees. Sex on the first date was the norm, not the exception. Divorced women don't play near as many games. I tell people that I remarried because I needed the rest. The truth is that I found a beautiful, intelligent, caring woman who loved who I was, and I've been happy. Another truth, I had better luck the second time because I was more mature and generally a much better guy than I was in my 20s. I was in an abusive marriage for 29 years. Got out 12 years ago. Haven't dated since. I had a lot of CPTSD, unresolved trauma from my whole life to deal with, and I have finally healed. I'm an introvert, nerd, bookworm, who is happiest alone. I'm at peace. I have my support system, and I'm still making new friends at 63. I'm not actively looking for a partner anymore, though I'm happy to take the initiative if I meet someone I like. I'm turning 40 this month. Earlier I was making an effort to put myself out there, but at the same time was really passive about approaching and would always wait for the guy to make a move on me. Which events/places would you go to and you found it acceptable for men to approach? I had a major glow up in my 30s. I've noticed younger women are more attracted to me, but I prefer women my age. As a woman, or maybe just a human, I think I became even more understanding, even though I was always understanding as I strive to be so, since I was much younger than now, when it comes to people in general. You know, their flaws, why people might behave certain ways, etc. At the same time, when it comes to dating, I think I'm probably less open to putting up with nonsense and immaturity and selfishness, having been with guys who were mostly nice, but when I look back, my trying to be understanding and open-minded enabled their behaviors and manipulations that deeply hurt me without my realizing. And I'm much more cynical and skeptical now about love in general, although I still find it beautiful. I just don't think I'll be looking for someone. Never have. Things always just happen. As a guy, dating has gotten much easier in my 30s. I think it's got a lot to do with having my career suddenly jump up a couple notches. I can also feel that I've lost that 20s sex drive, where you just want to have as much sex as you possibly can. These days I'm quite happy to nicely decline/avoid advances, and I only give women who I actually think something of any time. Irony is that my standards have gotten much higher, but I've also never had as much attention, dates, contact. I find the women I meet fit in quite a range. You have the professional types who have put career before much else and now have more time or are reevaluating. You also get the ones that don't like the idea of being single and do want a family despite what they say, but they'll never achieve it due to their own repetitive choices/attitude. I'm sure the desperate ones exist, but I've not come across many at all. I tend to date women who are also in their 30s. They tend to have a decent career, which is big thing that drives common interest like expensive hobbies. But they frustratingly make the same relationship errors/choices over and over, and it's easy to see it. I'm sure I make a bucket load too. BTW. It's difficult to spot your own issues though. I can now appreciate beauty without approaching or speaking to them. I was married through my 30s and 40s, but being recently separated, I find myself to have more confidence, knowing my value, and therefore more selective. I try not to waste time with games, and have the urge to be more honest as of late. As far as my tastes, they haven't really changed. I'm told by my friends that I do have a type, but I will date just about anyone, as long as I enjoy their time. I'm not in the dating pool, but as far as looking for friends and people to talk to in general, I have to enjoy their time. No small talk for me. When I was younger there were a lot more opportunities, because everyone was looking for something. Up until I was 30 I was chasing women. Then once I hit 30 women started chasing me. Seriously? Can you elaborate? I don't think I changed much over that time. I think women start looking for different things once they get a bit older. Maybe in hindsight around then I really stopped giving a ref about what women thought about me. Women can smell desperation, even if you think you aren't expressing it. So once I stood back a bit it all came to me. 32 meters. I have all but given up on dating. If it happens it happens, but I'm not going looking for it. I've cancelled my app subscriptions and deleted most of my social media. I find it's better for my mental to leave the dating scene alone and live my life the way I want. Dating nowadays is honestly a massive waste of my peace, money, time and effort for almost no reward. I'm expected to approach, do all the courting, pay for the date, and keep her interest while she has many messages and matches rolling in daily. Dating for me in my 20s before apps was easy, and I've been in multiple meaningful, monogamous long-term relationships in my life, and would say I'm generally happier in an LTR, but something has changed in the dating scene. I find women I've interacted with put in very little effort, are often very bland personalities, or are people I can't connect with. Constant social media and phone use being a huge area of disconnect, are quick to ghost, and have really unrealistic expectations, while bringing almost nothing to the table themselves. I fit the mold the internet says women want to. I'm tall, full head of hair, college educated, fit, good career, homie, nice truck, boat, cute dog, all of that. 4 years I put in maximum effort, maintained social media, even though I hate it, paid for premium apps, worked on my approaches, worked on myself and my appearance, went on and paid for regular dates a couple times a week, made myself do stuff I didn't really want to do, like go to clubs and bars, to try and meet women, and for what? Eventually I gradually got tired of the lack of reward and threw in the towel. At this point, if I don't meet a woman at my house, work, the bait shop, fishing flats or Sparks live the only places I care to frequent, then I guess I'm not going to meet one, and I've accepted that. My peace is more important. I'll be fine alone. Sure, I get lonely and wish things were different, but I don't see things getting better in the dating scene anytime soon. My dating life is at a halt now. I'm 31 and decided on a hiatus as it was disastrous for me when became single at 30, online dating, with lots of men being emotionally available. Currently I'm more focused on myself. Dating in my 20s was easier because I was happier with less back then, and it gave me some pretty bad experiences at the other end. Now I know what I want, and I'm not settling or dating unless I come across someone that fits my needs and what I want to give into a relationship. But that's my 2 cents. I, 36 meters, quit dating in 2015 I guess. Got disappointed and taken advantage of so many times that I don't get involved with people anymore. I'm a chef and I get in touch with a lot of people, but I don't feel anything anymore. It's like my feelings are completely shut down. Even if someone shows interest I keep it professional. I can't trust people anymore and keep them at a distance to not get hurt again. Another reason why I don't do dating anymore is that I've never been very confident and had to deal with depression for most of my life. I don't want to be a burden to anyone. I can't even ask for help. I'm doing everything on my own, which is probably why I can't keep up any friendships and there's no one left in my life. Feels pretty weird to write this, but here you go. 40 is when things got interesting. Mid-30s easily still pull from any age group. There's a shift at 40 for old age preferences, but I'm starting to silver fox quite a bit, and my in-person engagement is all over the age spectrum. Take care of yourself, and you'll be fine. Thanks for your comment. Motivates me to be on the self-improvement part. In 40s, how do you meet people for dating? Is it primarily the old, or do you meet in real life? If you meet in real life, what type of events are good for that? Why did you say women running out of time types started appearing in my 30s? They come out of hibernation from 32 to 40, realize they need more than their career or their friends, and pollute the dating pool in a frenzy of desperation. They wanted the right man to make them pregnant yesterday. The reason I ask is because I became unexpectedly single from a long-term relationship that I thought would include marriage and kids but didn't when I was 33. And yes, I wanted kids. Dating was really hard for me in my mid-30s because I was treated with disdain by men as soon as I said I wanted kids. I wasn't desperate. I had accepted it might not work out for me. That's life. But I also knew I had to be honest about what I wanted. To hear that mid-30s women who are dating are polluting the dating pool and are in a frenzy of desperation is really unfair. We can't fight biology. We find ourselves single at that age for the same reasons men do. I just ask that instead of looking down on women for appearing to act this way, I say appearing because we label any woman who's 35 and wanting kids as desperate even if she isn't, and recognize that's our reality and have some compassion about it. For those in their mid-30s who do want kids, it's an awful place to be. Stop trying to date. It's a rest show in my area, and I'm good with being single. I'm bored out of my mind. I'm certainly deep in the I don't deserve love camp, even though I know rationally that is just a silly delusion, based on the hurt of rejection from the past. I'd rather just accept it and not try to not get rejected romantically anymore. I'm slowly accepting my fate, that I will not find that partner. I do have some offers, however one is my ex and the other one is someone I care for and find attractive, but who has a lot of baggage and I know I will be stuck helping fix herself. And I honestly don't know if I can deal with that responsibility. Sometimes I cry for the love I will never meet, for the fantasies of my younger years of finding someone to smile with, go on trips and just be happy, and grow old together. Eventually the hurt will pass, as other wounds have passed. But hey, at least I will be buying a motorcycle soon. 0 in my 20s. 0 in my 30s. The only thing that changed was I got over my phobia of dating, sex, and relationships. But it appears it was too late, as now I have no idea how to navigate the dating world. Goose egg 20s, so it can only get better, right? When my marriage ended I honestly gave up. I cannot imagine trusting anyone, including myself, enough to be in a relationship. They are polluting the dating pool with their desperate yawn, like damn dude, that's pretty brutal. I don't think it changed so much as I began actively looking. Before, I would just go with the flow and relationships of different kinds would happen naturally. I started being proactive about it around 31. And I realized it's basically a numbers game with really low odds. So it's not worth the amount of energy I was putting into it. Go with the flow felt better anyway. I put myself out there a lot more and allowed some vulnerability. I got some great advice to be polarizing, which I took to mean being honest about what I was looking for and how I felt. It really eliminated a lot of my insecure and needy behavior, which I realized was just a side effect of poor communication and chasing women who wanted something different than I did. If I could talk to my younger self, I'd ask him, what's more important, that you hide your feelings from this one to spend more time with her, or that you cut your losses and find someone who wants what you want? Found someone I can be vulnerable and honest with, and I've never looked back. This is confusing, unless you are older. Young hot women in their 20s never stop being attractive, and nature didn't make this one so that it stays age appropriate with a guy as he ages. But, as you age, you stop being interested in them because they are young and immature and make terrible partners because they are still trying to figure it all out. As you age, older women, or let's say women closer to your age, become more appealing, not more attractive.